Tall?
Yes.
I think it's time to talk about the speed project.
I think it is. I'm
Roger,
tired
Roger.
of telling you all individually.
There's too many people asking, so we thought that we would get down to the nitty gritty and talk about what it is, how we got started with it, the experience of it all, how it changed our lives, and kind of go from there. So
the Speed Project, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a run from LA to Vegas. Yes, running on foot. Do people do it individually? Yes, they do. However, most people come up with a team. And we were introduced to it because my husband coaches runners, and one of his main runners was asked to be a part of a team, Team Oruzu. And it kind of turned into a couple of his clients, because he was like, hey, I have a couple good runners too that I already coached. Let's bring them all in. So, of course, naturally, because he coached at that point almost half of the team that we assembled, he became chief of crew and also in charge of like maps and everything like that. And of course, as a wife to Mr. Shredcats, I also became crew. I've also crewed runs before this as well, so I have the crewing experience. And actually, initially, Savannah was, I don't want to say afterthought, because that sounds
No,
rude.
I understand.
But her boyfriend, really good friends with all of us and a few of the runners too. He was on the crew as well, and we had a few other people that we had already deemed crew, because we'd like to preface that we were crew, we were not runners, we were crew. But we had some changes in the team, and we had some crew fallout, and with what we did, we needed hands on deck. So I kind of worked out, like, not to like be excited that people fell off, but
yeah,
as soon as
excited.
but as soon as they fell out, I was like, Sav, you're in.
But I remember when you guys were doing it, I thought that was like the coolest thing. I was like, in my head, I'm like, how do I scoop myself in there? But I just like remember like just asking, here and there, 'cause you guys would get on calls like weekly, and I'm just like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, I want to be as involved as possible, even though I'm not going. But then I remember E was like, yeah, we had some crew team members who aren't going to be with us for this race. And I was like, please, me, like, put me in, coach. Like, I'm ready. I want to do it. And then hopped on that first call, and the journey started there. And I don't remember when I got on. Like, it wasn't, maybe in January?
I think
December? I can't
no,
remember.
it was before that.
Okay, maybe November, December.
We started planning the speed project. Like, now that I think about it, it was like almost a year from the race date. So I think you probably got added this in the fall.
I think it was the fall, yeah.
Because luckily one of the runners fell out or one of the crew members fell out in the fall time, so we were able to get you in then.
Yeah.
This took, we were on these calls like 6, 7, 8 months out, and I was like, why are we like, we have a lot going on individually in our lives, so I'm like, why are we on these calls early? But like, now that we've done it, I'm like, I understand how meticulous we needed to plan things. We were sponsored by Ultra. Shout out Ultra. So we are Ultra running team. They sponsored us. They helped us with booking our Airbnb, booking our vehicles.
They have been amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
We couldn't have done it without them, truly. No. And obviously they put some heat on our feet to be able to run 343 miles. Now, with that being said, I feel like we should get into like when we got there. Keep in mind, like, obviously my husband, Sav, her boyfriend, and one of the runners, we were already friends. So we knew us like group of 4, like we already knew each other, but there was a total of 8 runners, 4 crew, and 2 social media. And we did not know any of these people. Like we've met them on calls and stuff like that, but they were strangers to us. So we were sharing an Airbnb and going on this adventure with strangers who have become family very quickly. Like, I couldn't imagine life without them now. Yeah. So we got to LA Wednesday where the race started. Friday, April 3rd, we got there Wednesday. And man, we started crewing immediately as soon as we got there.
No sleep. Like,
none.
Honestly, like that, it started then with the sleep. It didn't even start like when the race started. It was right then and there.
We literally landed at the airport, boom, picked up a Sprinter van that fits 15 people. And we had to, North Face sent us so much clothing to be ready for the race. And which, again, shout out Ultra, that was their doing. So we had to go organize it was like, I felt like we were like organizing a brand trip for all of our runners, but also for ourselves too. Like, our runners got to the Airbnb, were chilling as they should have been doing, but we got to work fast. We were organizing the bags by sizes. That took hours.
Yep.
And then we had
a lot of preparation, honestly, like behind the scenes. I like how you said like a brand trip, because that's honestly how it felt. Making sure everything was set up correctly. We were prepared. Went grocery shopping. We got like first aid, things that we needed. I mean,
the grocery shopping was funny because we were running around this, I think it was a Smart and Final or it was a Smith's or I can't remember, it was a Ralph's. It was a Ralph's. And there was 4 of us and we had 2 shopping carts and we were just all wearing the same thing from North Face. And like, we just looked hectic and like we were just running around the store and some workers they were like, what are you guys doing? And granted, so to explain about the Speed Project a little bit, it's an unsanctioned, unsupported event. So what that means is there's no outside support. Like we're choosing to do this. If anything happens during it, we are responsible for figuring it out. Now, with that being said, when people ask us what we're doing, when we're there, we have to say, oh, we're just a bunch of friends running. So like LA to Vegas, like that's it, which sounds crazy, right? We can't just be like, oh, we're doing the Speed Project, because if we tell that to the wrong person, you can get in trouble. And they've been able to keep this up for 13 years. Yes, we're allowed to talk about it on a podcast. I double checked. We're beyond, so we're good. I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. But so we were just like, oh, we're going to go run to Vegas. And people are like, what is going on? Okay, well, sure, run to Vegas, whatever. The day before, our team captain, Wally, arranged this amazing experience. We all ran together, crew, social media, everyone ran together. And then we came back. We had like a recovery van with a sauna and cold plunge. We got to decorate all of our clothing, spray paint like the Oruzu, spray paint Ultra, spray paint whatever. Yeah, like we wanted
our team
to bring culture and art to this sport. That was our team's motto: "Was all races welcome." And I think we did a good job representing that. We got to decorate our RV. TSP's like staple is the blue tape.
So cool. I'm sorry, but I think we had the best RV out there. Like
we literally had artists write love in blue painter's tape all across the RV. And it was perfect. The symbolism was perfect because the amount of love that we felt for each other after we finished was incredible.
It's a good time to take a second, like relax, breather, have fun with it. I mean, and also get to know each other because like we said, we were strangers. Like we did not. I mean, there was a few of us who knew each other, but outside of that, it was just an opportunity to get to know each other and just have a fun time before like it all started and document everything going on prior to it.
Yeah, so that was Thursday. We have the best social media team too. So we have all the images and videos of our experience from pre-race to post-race. But the race started 4 a.m. sharp on Santa Monica Pier. So we were up at 2 in the morning, 1:45 a.m., 2 a.m. to make sure all the runners got up. Our Airbnb was like 25 minutes from the pier. So
before we even get there. Yeah. The night before. Okay. There's many times through this process where we sat there and said, are we really doing this? Like this is crazy. Yeah. When we got back from just that cool hangout and everything, runners came back, relaxed. That's when we did the grocery shopping and all that. Once we did that, we got back and all the crew team was upstairs and we just looked at the entire logistical map that this woman's hutband put together. Like I told him in person after we went through it, like I already had respect for him, but like I have the utmost respect for what he did to set us up for success that way. I mean, it was insane. We're in the room and he has it up on the TV as a visual and her and I are behind my partner and we're looking at each other like, damn, we're really doing this.
I felt like we were like ops, like we were in really operations, though. Like we were about to do some shit. Yeah. Like we had the Strava route pulled up. He was like, and boom, this area, we might run into some dogs. And boom, this area. Like it was like, but I looked over at all the runners' faces during this like debriefing the night before and like the amount of like relief from like them being able to visualize what they're getting ready to do. Like he really outdid himself. And let me tell you, like, obviously it's my husband. I see the back end. He took 3.5, 4 weeks to like plan the Strava route, to write the notes for each particular unsupported area or whatever. I wish we could
open up a laptop to show them the whole like thing. He had like the streets and the markers and like Talia said, like unsanctioned, unsupported, like there's no routes given. There's no aid stations. We aren't crossing off streets for this. Like this is just open road runners. We have our crew team van and just like that raw spirit of endurance. Like that's all it is. So like he created this whole plan. And I mean, for us crew members, but really like the runners, just like you said, us going over that with them, like they weren't even phased. Like they were like, okay, wow, we have a plan. We got something to work towards.
They were so
like,
excited
yes.
after it. Like they went from nervous to like,
They,
all right,
they were
let's
hyped.
go.
And I was like, but wait, you have to go to sleep. Go to bed.
And while we sent the runners to sleep, because obviously it's a 2 a.m. wake up call, we were still crewing because we had to take groceries, stock the RV, make sure we had this basket in the Sprinter van that we will be referring to throughout this podcast as the Go vehicle. That's where the runners that were running the current route were. We had to like make this basket with, sunblock, gels, electrolytes, like just make sure we had everything we needed. So we were up until like 10:30, 11, like doing that. Cause again, this is in LA, so we could not park anywhere near our Airbnb. So we had to walk.
It was a pain in the butt.
Get ready. We maybe got 4 or 5 hours of sleep the night before.
I remember I knocked out at like maybe 1:30 and then the alarm went off and I said, let's do it. Let's
We're
go.
up. And everyone's spirits were high, even at a weird paranormal time to wake up, right? The drive, I mean, you could tell there was like nerves. Like it was more so like, what are we doing? Like we just kept doing like, all right, it's here, it's happening. And the vibes at the starting line were insane. It's just all these people just hyped up, video cameras all over the place. And it's just like, honestly, you couldn't tell who was going to run and who was on the team. Like, because everyone was just blended in together and
crowds. You had like lights flashing. Honestly, I was like, where am I? I'm at the Santa Monica Pier, but where am I? Because this is actually crazy. You got RVs lined up. I mean, different teams. I want to like preface like, even just our team alone, we all got different stories. We all have different backgrounds, reasons for why we're doing things. And then you get in this huge environment with other people and you realize like, this is like, it's amazing.
Bro.
I get chills. I literally am having chills right now because you have all of these people and like
all
there's
over
a
the
purpose.
world, mind you, from all over the world.
There's a purpose that they're here and why they're doing what they're doing. And it's just an incredible movement. I remember like, the chanting, because it's so loud, but then everyone needs to calm down because it's really focusing on the runners at the start. And I remember him saying, we've run through this, we're used to this. And then it was run, motherfucker, run. And I was like, okay, like
it was hype,
this is hype, let's go.
Mind you, it's 3:55 a.m. Okay.
We're having it's like the streets are filled. Yes. And I'm like, are the cops gonna come? Like, we're already gonna start with them already? We got hotels like literally by this whole thing. I'm like, bro, we are waking them up for sure.
And mind you, like the entire team is at the starting line, but there's only one runner that's taking off. So we had a game plan. The second that it was like ready, set, go, we had to sprint to where we parked our RV and our Sprinter van to go sprint to the car, get in the car, and then catch up with our runner to be ready to meet him at the next landmark to switch out for the runners. Because our original plan that got debunked very quickly was we were going to do 3-mile segments with each of the runners. Again, we had 8 runners. We split that in half. So 4 of the runners were in the Go vehicle, meaning they were going to do 3 laps each. And then the other 4 were in the recovery vehicle, which was the RV. And that's where Savannah and Raheem, her boyfriend, were. That was their headquarters throughout this journey. E and I were in the we're in the Go vehicle the whole time. And we would hope that it would take a couple hours for each team to run to give the other team a chance to rest and recover. Yeah. So the first few hours we're running through the city of Los Angeles. We're running through Hollywood. We got lost very quickly.
Oh my gosh.
The original game plan was for all the runners to have the Strava route pulled up on their phone. We changed that fast because one of the runners took a wrong turn. And luckily, we had all shared locations with Emilio from the get-go. So we get to the landmark where she's supposed to switch off, and she's not there. And she's a fast runner.
We were like,
so we were like, something's wrong. And we look.
Fight somebody.
And also, you're going to preface us talk about walkie-talkies a lot. The runner has a walkie-talkie, the RV has a walkie-talkie, and then the Go vehicle has 2 walkie-talkies, one for Emilio and I and one for the next runner. So we're just ready to go. And she was out of walkie range. I was like,
this isn't good.
It's a great way to start. So we find her. She's frustrated with herself. It's fine. We got back on track. After that, and mine and Sav's POV is going to be a little bit different because there's times that the RV had to go ahead because, I mean, they tell you can't trail your runner. And like in the city, while we're still running in cities, we couldn't either. So we would sometimes send the RV to like the next checkpoint, and then we would catch up with you guys. Well, while we sent the RV out, we were supposed to stay, because you know, if you've been to LA, you take one wrong lane, you're like on the freeway. So that's what happened. So our Go vehicle, we should have stayed to the right with our runner. We peered to the left, and now all of a sudden we're on a freeway. So our social media guy is like, hey, just take the next exit. Like, I live here. Like, this next one, right? We start approaching this exit, and it looks like there's barricades. And I'm like, I don't know if this is open. Like, it looks a little sketch. Like, there's no exit sign, no number.
I remember looking up. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to get through that.
So then, of course, the guy that's a local LA, he's like, well, I live here. No, I've taken this exit before. I'm like, yeah, what do I know? I don't fucking live in LA, you know? No, we get off of this exit, and we pull up, and it's fenced off at the top. Mind you, we're on a freeway. So I'm like, even keel. That was the crew's motto. That was our rules. We need to stay even keel around these runners. We have to be their rock when things get hot and heavy. Yeah. And I was like, it's 4:45
We're already pivoting. We're already trying to figure this out.
We're 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's fine. We had to reverse out this non-existent exit. And luckily, again, it's 5 a.m. in LA, so it wasn't bad. Like, it could have been worse with the traffic. We're exiting out of this exit backwards, get back on the freeway, finally find her. And we're like, okay. And I don't even know where you guys were at that point, because I think you guys got lost too, trying to find the landmark.
So like, and I remember we talked about this right before this started, and it was like, you're gonna learn a lot about your person through this, okay? Like, the city portion, thank God for him, okay? He drove the RV throughout the entire city portion. I just get extreme anxiety, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm really not going to.
A large vehicle.
And my lovely man of him, he is very like, let's go, let's do it, let's go.
Very military.
And, yes, very military. And I remember like we passed, and he's like, look on your iPad, look on maps, do this, do that. And I'm like, she's crewed before. I've never crewed before. So this is new to me, but I'm like, baby, like, you're going to have to adapt very quickly. And I just remember having like my maps pulled up, my laptop pulled up, and I'm trying to tell him the street and this. Mind you, I don't have my glasses on. I should have my glasses on. It's whatever. Anyway, so he's like talking about the street, and I'm like, but it's telling me to go up, and then you have to turn back on the same street. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm like freaking out. Whatever. We figured it out, as we should. And we kind of like finally met up. Yes. I feel like there was some time in there. Mind you, I'm in my head, I'm like, where are these runners running right now? Like,
I have no idea what little towns we are running through, like, at this point. Because after those first 2 hiccups, it was pretty smooth for hours after that. There was a segment where Captain Wally had to run, and it was like a little uphill, no shoulder on the street. Like, and that happened multiple times. Like, mind you, she mentioned it earlier, there's no routes. They give you like ideas of routes, but like, you have to get to Las Vegas. Whatever happens in between, that is
like A to B, everything in between, all the elements, like it's up to us.
But the biggest rule is we can't break the law because we don't want to attract law enforcement, right? So we get to this point, there's no shoulder, and I'm like, and it's uphill. These cars are going fast, and I'm like, all right, like, it's fine. He was fine. Everything was fine. Everything was pretty smooth sailing. Our social media guys hanging out the van, the door open, taking pictures and videos, and like, we're able to slightly trail. If not, we kind of, you know, we drive up front. Then we get to this like valley, and again, I don't know what the names of these cities are. I've never driven this way before, so this is, no matter how many times I've driven from California to Las Vegas, because I am Vegas born, so like, I've done that drive a million times. It's a different way than like I've taken, because again, we can't just run. Everyone's like, did you run the 15 straight down? No, it's illegal. Absolutely not. We were up in the backwoods. We get to this part, and it's super windy, and I'm like, the runners are fighting for their lives. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking ahead, and I'm like, it's getting windier. Like, you can see like dust storms and stuff. It was not.
Dude, I jinxed it.
Dust storms. I get out to like facilitate swapping out one of the runners, and it smelled like smoke. And I was like, okay, so that's not dust up front. That is smoke. I'm like, where is it coming from? And I'm like, great, of course, we're in California, and they couldn't wait to burn while we were running around.
Like you said, like we have different POVs. So like, I just remember us navigating all the windy, going up, And I mean, being in the RV, I've never driven an RV. So that was my first time. I'd like to say I was the better one,
Did great.
But being in that RV with that wind was insane. Like,
I can't imagine. That's terrifying.
Honestly. And then at some point we had to get onto the freeway with that wind. And oh my God, I remember texting him like, please be careful. It was bad.
And then you throw in fire.
Yeah.
With
So
the wind.
we're getting up there and I remember, and that's why I said, I feel like I jinxed it. Cause in my head, I'm thinking throughout this whole thing and I'm like, this is what they're talking about. Like with the wildfires in Cali, like how they just pick up so quickly. And then we get around that corner. I'm like,
surprise.
It don't smell good.
It was a wildfire.
It's a wildfire.
I've never seen a wildfire in my life.
And it wasn't even like it literally had to have just happened.
Started.
Because we're seeing the smoke and it's pretty dark, And then finally we keep going around the bend and I'm like, okay, the sky's turning orange. And I'm like, to a point where we had to cover our mouths and double it with the bandanas for our runners.
They are still running while this is happening.
Still running,
by the way.
Okay, because it was starting to get that bad. And I remember Devon going out and running that part, and in my head I'm like, I feel really bad. Like I'm so sorry. And then I stepped back and I said, actually, this is what we signed up for.
We got some sick ass photos of him running with that smoke. Let me tell you.
This essentially is that in between that we had to kind of figure out. Should we continue going forward? Should we put the safety of all of us through this? Like, we don't know how bad it is. Yeah. Very grateful that like we were at that point of getting past it, and like we look up and we're like, wow, like it's picked up. And it's covering a lot of the area.
You can see the flames. We saw the flames. We saw the physical flames. We saw police officers knocking on doors and escorting people out of their homes.
Insane.
Like, if we were 5 to 10 minutes slower, like our runner's pace, we would have been stopped. Because what we did not preface already is there's no help from the Speed Project directly. However, there is a giant WhatsApp group chat of all the teams are in this group chat. And anything like this gets put into this group chat as a warning to other teams. And we saw, as we passed like the worst part of it, we saw that teams were getting stopped at a certain point and turned around. So they had to find another route. We barely made it through. Like, we were so close that firefighters' walkies, their radios were intercepting our radios. And our runner, Erin, was out. And she said at one point she heard the firefighter go, "Be advised, there's runners on the road." And she was like, I'm the runner on the road. And there's just fire. That was insane. The pictures go hard.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's lungs are all right, because I definitely got a smoke headache from getting out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even running, so I can't imagine with the runners too.
And like that moment was like we kept saying like we're really doing this. Like, this is crazy. But like that was the moment that we're like, this is happening. And these are the things that we, like a wildfire out of anything, like, these are the things that we have to tackle. That was our first like huge challenge.
And they told us at the safety debriefing, he goes, everything that you think is going to happen is not. And things that are going to happen
are going to.
Yes. Like, I felt like, honestly, now that I think about it and tell these stories, I'm like, we lived like a runner's Hunger Games. Like, they literally just sitting there chilling, waiting, because they had little checkpoints throughout the route that teams and runners could meet up at. They're just chilling, just be like, oh, bro, you see this text? There's a wildfire. Crazy. Like, we're literally living like Hunger Games style. And
it's like fight for yourself. It's like survival mode. Like, you have to just like, you're like, okay,
your instincts have
what
to
are we
turn
doing?
on.
What are we doing here?
After that, we were okay for a few hours. And then our original route we had to change because again, the reference the group chat, the original route we found out was flooded with water. And if you're a runner, water and running socks and shoes don't go well together for blisters. So Emilio found an alternate route. Preface, he was a forward observer in the military, in the Army. He was 82nd Airborne, so this was his job. So he's very good at looking at maps, and that was something we really needed. So we go through this like dirt road, and we're on it for a minute, man. And they warn you at the safety meeting there's going to be dogs, not coyotes, dogs, wild dogs that are either abandoned, abused, or live in these random houses in the middle of nowhere, right? We weren't necessarily near the area that we were prepared to face them. We were kind of a ways before that. Well, then we faced them. And I feel so bad. The two runners that had to deal with it the most were Devon and Berto. And that was our next big hurdle were the dogs.
Mind you, this like road was deserted, like a dumping ground. Honestly, I mean, nothing's safe, but like an RV, both the cars going in, like at that point, you'd think like a tire would pop and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, like deserted. And poor Devon.
He just, we're trailing our runners at this point because we can't. We're in the middle of nowhere. So we have eyes on him the whole time. We forgot pepper spray was on our shopping list and we forgot it because, again, we were aware that there may potentially be dogs. We had purchased trekking poles for like the more like hilly parts of runs. And those trekking poles became weapons very quickly. We sent our runners with a trekking pole during their routes in case they had to kind of, which there were multiple occasions we did have to shoo dogs away. And they were not nice dogs. I love dogs. I'm a dog girly. They were not nice. No. And I've never in my life been more prepared to hit a dog with a van. I was like, I will run this dog over. Yeah. I was willing to, like, when people hear these stories about everything we go through, it's like, this is exhilarating. How do I become a part of it? I was literally willing to get bit by a dog before the runners were going to get bit by the dog.
It's like, put me in front. I'll deal with it.
If you can't do that, then and adjust to these things, like this is not for you. Because I was prepared. I was like, if I get bit by a dog, we're going to be back in Vegas in a couple of days and I'll go get this clean. Like I can clean it myself and like we'll get it checked out afterwards. But these runners are not getting bit by a dog. Our
runners were like our children. Like we protected them literally with our whole heart.
That was all that mattered, was that our runners were fed, hydrated, safe, healthy, like always.
That's it.
Honestly, the dog part was...
No,
it lasted a lot longer.
It lasted way longer. Like if I'm thinking about it, it's really, I remember looking up. Devon was running. Why is it always Devon running now that I'm thinking about it? Every time I got a story. This poor man. I just remember looking up and like there's two, I mean, they're pretty large dogs.
Yeah.
Coming his way. And I'm like, are we already starting this? Like, is this really happening? Mind you, already went through the fire. So it's like
all right, here we
anything
go.
is possible.
Yeah.
And then I remember after the two dogs got caught, he's this little baby dog, this small, running at him, and I'm cracking up. Then he finally goes over the walkie-talkie. I'm terrified of dogs. I said, no, the one person that we sent out.
So we swapped them out.
So we swapped them out really quick.
Yeah. And that's why the plan of that every 3 miles switching the runners changed, because it wasn't just uphill terrains and wildfires and smoke and dogs. Like there were so many things that we needed to adjust to. So it got to a point where it was like, when we need to switch, we need to switch, After the dogs, we were pretty clear until, we approached something called unsupported segments. And what that means is if you don't have a bicycle or an off-road vehicle, there's these long stretches of land that you have to send your runners on alone. And there were 6 separate segments. It was 9 miles, 2 6-mile ones, 2 4-mile ones, and I think a 5-mile one. It was something like that.
Yeah.
It was something like that. The first unsupported segment that we got was the 9-mile one. So we sent, it was in the middle of the night. We weren't going to send just one runner for safety. So we sent our 2 strongest runners together. They ran it together. That was the longest stretch of sleep that we got.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, because I was like, oh, wait, they're going to run 9 miles straight. Okay. So what we did was we parked and we knocked out for 30 whole minutes, baby.
Because remember, we went to bed. Mind you, we didn't have a lot of sleep prior to leaving. We went to bed at 1:30 and then got up at 2 or whatever. We got to Santa Monica, started at 4. Literally from that period on, I mean, no sleep. And that was going into that night. And I was starting to get delusional. Honestly, very delusional. And
it was only night 1 too. I was like,
and I was like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah. So the nap was much needed.
The 9 miles, I said, yep, we're parking. Yeah. Let's try to snooze. And when that alarm went off, I said, really?
That 30 minutes was deep, though, I'll tell you. The next stretch of sleep we got was it was a 7-mile, I believe, was the next segment. And again, we would just go drive up to where we were going to meet the runners to switch off. And we would, put the car in park and sleep there. At this point of the race, we are still surrounded by other teams, okay? There comes a point in time where it just ends up being us out there and we don't have any other teams in sight. But we're still around, other RVs, other teams and stuff, which was nice, because although it is a race, we're trying to meet people there, at the end of the day, it is a camaraderie. Like we're all doing something relatively dangerous together. So like it was nice to be around people that were there. You know, after, I don't think anything significant happened on the unsupported segments. We did have runner. Her name's Cindy. She tackled 2 in a row.
Insane.
It was a 6 mile.
Yeah.
We met her after the 6 mile, gave her a gel, gave her some more water, wet her a little bit because it was a little warm. And then she went on another 5 miles. And she's a trail running queen. And like, these two were the most trail running
hustler. Yeah.
Running routes throughout this entire race. And I remember she was coming around towards the end of that 11 total miles. And Amelia was like, I don't think that's her. They're moving really fast. Yeah. I'm like, no, I think that's Cindy. And this girl, she fast and she did it. And we had met our runners were incredible. They were incredible. The last unsupported segment was running into Baker. Okay, so think about where we started and where we're at now. Okay, when you drive from Vegas to Baker, you're like, oh, I'm already in Baker. Like, by the time we got to Baker, I was like, okay, this is really reassuring. Like, we're like kind of almost there, kind of. So the run to Baker goes, Emilio's getting antsy, so he's like, I'm going to go run with Aaron, and we're going to run together. It's an unsupported segment. It's 6 miles. And I was like, okay, we're going to go to Mad Greek, and we're going to finally eat whole food. Because mind you, we're just like snacking on things.
The entire time.
Yeah, we're 45 minutes of sleep in.
Dude, we missed one of the most important things.
What?
The RV toilet.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That was working, what, maybe 8 hours?
Yeah.
8, 10.
No pun intended. It went to shit at like 10 hours into the race. And that's because you got a bunch of runners in a bunch of cars.
We were like, oh, we got to go dump it. Like, we had all these plans of like doing these things.
It's just, we couldn't.
And we literally couldn't.
Well, mostly because I think we were moving faster than I thought we were going. We all thought we were going to not keep this pace up, and we kept this pace up a quicker pace than we intended for it. You just keep going.
Just keep it going. It's going steady. So yeah.
You just don't want to stop it.
Yeah.
Now that means we had to start going to the bathroom in nature.
And
like, I'm a city girl, so that was rough.
Oh my God. I was terrified of the animals. I'm just like, please don't bite.
But it was crazy. The runners were so locked in. They did not care. They were like, hey, give me the wipes. I got to go. And I'm like, in nature, go ahead.
Go ahead, do it.
It's very primal. We tapped into a lot of primal instincts throughout this experience, which I guess is the point. You're supposed to disconnect and be in touch with like our primal instincts, and we definitely did.
Everything outside.
We definitely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So one of the unsupported segments we was at a rest stop, dude, and it was glorious. I was like, toilets. Yes.
We got food. We actual real food.
It was the little things at that point, Once we get to Baker, that's when we approach Death Valley. And Death Valley, luckily, if this race would have been a week earlier, the temperature would have been bad, hot. Honestly, it was cold. It was freezing.
No,
cold.
it was freezing.
Cold.
We had beautiful weather. I was
fortunate
shocked because
for the weather.
Although, I don't know. I've watched on YouTube and stuff, and these people are running through the rain and whatnot, and I'm like,
all right,
we got really lucky.
We got lucky. It was not too hot. We had no rain. We had wildfire, but we didn't have any other extreme weather situations. So we're going pretty smooth through Death Valley for the most part. We get yelled at by. Actually, that's after. Let me not get ahead of myself. And then what else do you think could happen happens. The second Savannah switches the shift to driving in the RV.
But yeah, the tire pops. Yeah,
Flat tire in Death Valley.
Had switched with my partner, and so he could finally sleep. And we're constantly stopping off the side of the road. We stopped 1,000 times. And I remember steering off to the side, and I hear this like noise. And I looked down, and it said tire pressure 20. The other side said 86. And I said, there's no way this just happened. There's no way this just happened. And my partner jumps up from the back of the RV in the bed. Mind you, he literally just put his head down. And he goes, the tire. It went, the tire. And he's freaking out. And I'm like, why me? Why?
And the funny thing is, Emilio finally convinced me to close my eyes for a little bit. He's like, if you don't sleep right now, you're gonna fuck us for tonight. Like you need to sleep. Yeah. And I was like, finally, I am ask earplugs on.
Because we came up with that, like a plan finally after day one. Yeah. We're like, okay, the crew team, like obviously in order to get everyone there safely, like we really have to rest. Like we're only running off of 48 hours of sleep in like 2 days, like
48 minutes.
48 minutes, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we came up with a plan. We figured it out, and then that literally happens. And mind you, we're just entering Death Valley. Like I've never been to Death Valley. I was honestly really excited to go through it. And then that happened. I said, "Oh, okay." And that I think was really like, yeah, we went to the wildfire, we went through the dogs, but that one like was the extreme. Like we worked together to figure out how to even get out of that situation. I mean, like she said, there was that big group chat for TSP where we're asking, you know, do you guys have any numbers? Anyone that you would recommend to come out, you know, contacts like that. And our captain Wally, he's on the phone with the RV mechanics, whatever the reference was on the key. And they said, oh, we're not going to be able to get out to you till Monday.
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday, and it's on speaker. And we all looked at each other, and Wally goes, do you know where we're at right now? We're in Death Valley. And he spelt it out for them. Like, we are in Death Valley. I mean, we reached out to AAA. My partner was on the phone with somebody. I believe it was someone who was recommended in the group chat. Kind of like a little mom and pop shop. Thank you. Like, they were our Lord and Savior. They came out in like 30 minutes and put the tire back together. I mean, the tire that they had in there was an actual like brand new tire. And I was like, thank you. Because if I was to have driven from that point all the way to Vegas on a spare, like I'm honestly throwing up inside.
And to put into perspective, we're running still. Okay.
Yes.
We left them to figure it out. We took our 4 strongest runners because we were getting ready to approach the uphill part of Death Valley, which we had talked about like during the debriefing, like, hey, this is going to be gnarly. It was so gnarly that we took it in 400-meter shifts. Like, these runners were running 400-meter sprints up this Death Valley hill. So we took our 4 strongest runners, like our A team, and we let the other ones rest and recover while they figured out the whole situation. We are keeping this needle pushing forward, okay? Yeah. And while they're trying to figure this out and get someone out there. At one point, once we get to the top of the mountain, we're like, we need to switch out runners because they just literally ran. These 4 runners just ran this whole mountain by themselves. We have to switch them out. We have to rest their legs. So we left Erin, one of our runners, out, and we told her, hey, like 2-minute run, 2-minute walk. It started off as a walk, but we had just passed another team, and we definitely were getting, we would get butterflies every time we passed a team. So, and they were kind of getting a little close. So we told her like, hey, 2-minute jog, 2-minute walk. Yeah. We will be right back. So we left this girl in the desert by herself with a walkie-talkie and a trekking pole. Yeah. And we sped down back to the RV. We picked up the other runners. We left them still, Sav, Raheem, Wally. We left them.
We'll figure it out.
And we just were like, we got to keep pushing the needle forward. So then we get back with Erin. We switch out the runners, let them rest. And then.
We finally got the tire situation up to par. And honestly, how long was that? Like an hour and a half, maybe 2, maybe 2 hours.
Time is very gone at this point.
At that point, and like just being out there, like, everything just feels like an eternity. And I remember that tire being placed on, and I was like, wow, like I miss my team. Like, we've spent all of these hours together, supporting each other, making sure that we are, like you said, pushing the needle forward. And I was like, I miss my team. I want to be with them. I want to make sure they're okay. And we're driving. And I just remember looking out, I'm like, they ran far. They ran miles.
We put some work in while y'all were getting that tire fixed, man.
And I was like, dang, like hustlers. The fact that we had to pivot again. And this is the point of it. Like, someone is always running. Feet are on the ground.
24/7.
24/7.
Until we reached the welcome sign.
And they had to be squished in the go van just to make this happen. And when we got to them, we parked. God. We got out of the car. I'm literally getting chills. We got out of the car, and it was just like that meetup again. And it was like, we're all together again.
That we did it. We conquered another obstacle.
that obstacle.
I've never been so happy to hear the on the walkie in my life.
You're like,
dude.
wait, did I hear it right? Like
I was like, oh, and then I hear Raheem's voice, and I will not repeat what he said, but he says something, and I just immediate relief. I was like, oh my God, everyone's together.
Yeah.
Because at one point we were gonna be like, all right, we're gonna have to pile everyone in this 15 vehicle Sprinter van with all of our like necessities and the foods that they need. Like we were already trying to figure it out, but luckily we didn't have to.
Yeah.
And then from there we were pretty smooth sailing for another few hours.
Yeah, that was the halt of going up the hill.
We made it
into
past
the darkness. Literally
Yes.
pitch black.
Beautiful stargazing
beautiful
moments. Beautiful stargazing
really,
moments.
honestly, like the most peace I've ever felt in my entire life. I remember standing outside the car, the recovery van or RV, excuse me, is everyone's kind of settled, they're quiet, and I just had to step outside and like take it in for a second that like we did this. We're already more than halfway. Like I looked up and I saw those stars and I was like, wow.
Makes you appreciate like to be in the moment instead. We're always go. It's our jobs, it's our life. Just to be in that moment, it was life changing for us.
And like what a beautiful,
regardless of how tired we were, because at that point we were still only like 40 minutes of sleep.
Yeah, there's no sleep.
Day
Let's just be honest.
we accepted it at that point.
Yeah, at that point, and we were pretty close.
We were close. Yeah. We had two other big like significant things that kind of happened towards the end of our travels. Let's
go.
The second to last thing was we were, again, past these beautiful stargazing moments and up these hills, and our runners are running 400-meter sprints and switching out. We were a well-oiled machine at this point. We get to this weird small town in the middle of nowhere. I can't remember if this was before Pahrump. I think it was before Pahrump or after Pahrump.
I think it was
called Charleston
View.
View.
Like it was almost, like we were almost there. It was a very small.
It's like 2 a.m.
creaky town. Yeah.
We're trailing our runner at this point because I'm like, this is weird. This is creepy. It's giving children of the corn.
Yeah. And we're slow, mind you. Like this is how we've been the entire time. It's like 6 miles per hour this entire time. Yes. So it's just real slow.
So we get to our next like landmark where we're going to switch out the runners. I stop and I see a folding chair. No homes in sight. A folding chair and a lady standing up in the corner in gray sweatpants with her hands in her pockets, this like creepy smile on her face. And she's rocking back and forth on her feet. And I'm, again, 48 minutes of sleep. I'm delusional at this point. So I look behind me and I'm like, hey guys, do you also see the weird lady standing in the corner? Or is it just me? Because if it's just me, I need to get out the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And Emilio's looking at his laptop because he's, doing map things. And he looks up and he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, what is that? What is that? And I'm like, there's no way this is happening right now. There's no way. There's some skinwalker lady.
No, and like
2 in the morning.
I'm passing and I was like, hey, this is weird.
2 in the morning, right?
It's kind of crazy.
It was, and like our runners are getting ready to switch. So we had to make sure our runners like stayed away from her and like went on the other side of the van. And I'm like, I go in self-defense mode, right? So I am like, I'm underfed. I'm 48 minutes of sleep. But if this lady takes one step towards my runner, I'm going to get out the van and I'm fighting her. And that was the first time in my life, aside from my jiu-jitsu career, that I was like, I might lose this fight. I am hungry and tired.
Yeah.
But she ain't touching my runner.
I just think it made it worse that we were so delusional that like we were not in a real world at that point. We were just like, like we were ready for it because we had already gone through so many challenges. We're like, if what's next?
We're like, here. There's no way that this is also happening in addition to everything else. Luckily, she was just some weird cracked out skinwalker lady that just did not move a muscle and like was like started clapping and we're like, oh my God. Okay, like, thanks for your support.
Yep.
I guess. Luckily, that was the last like life thing. Yeah. Kind of. I think probably the most memorable part of the run was after that we get to like the hill that climbs right before you get to Blue Diamond, because we take the back way to Vegas. So there's this giant hill. It's 10 miles of uphill, and our runners I think it was 200 meters, between 200 and 400 meter runs. We had all of the runners in the Go vehicle and they were just all swapping out. And like even like Savannah, Raheem, Emilio, and I, like we were taking turns and running with the runners, these like uphill sprints.
Because at some point we realized, so our prediction of getting to the Las Vegas sign was 12 p.m. on Sunday. And we got to a point where we're like, no,
Dude,
we're actually,
we're cooking,
ahead of time. Like we're way ahead of time. And that
this is like 3 a.m. at this
yeah,
point.
we're juggling what time we were going to get there, but we knew it was going to be pretty early. So like this last bit, just going up this mountain, and I mean, they're in and out and in and out. Like
it was beautiful. Like even
unreal.
the seats in the Go vehicle, like there was a seat for the person that was getting ready to run next. Like it was just a well-oiled machine.
It really was.
Oh my God, this is every coach's dream right now. We got some miles in. Like it was such a camaraderie. It's like it made me realize like I love these people, and I can't imagine doing this with anybody else in this group of people right here.
It's like in those moments too, and I wish we had a runner here to kind of speak on that, but it's like I want you guys to understand, like our runners not once through this whole entire time complained. No excuses. If they even cried, it was on their own.
We never knew. We found out after the fact.
After the fact.
As a matter of fact, I think the only time our runners would get upset is because they wanted more miles.
Yeah. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. Okay. And like, yeah, I mean, no excuses. And
if
like
someone had an injury, and I don't want to use the word injury, if something was achy or bothering them, the other runners have no problem. Like, hey, let me take their shift. Yeah. I'll take an extra shift. I don't care.
A little bit more just for somebody to sleep.
Like, rest it off. Like, I got them. Like, it was just like
a chain. Like
everyone was connected and everyone was there for each other. Like, and it was remarkable to see. And that really came out when we got on Blue Diamond. And I was like, oh my God, we're on Blue Diamond, bro. We are here.
Mind you, I'm not from Vegas. So I'm like I'm familiar with Blue Diamond, so I was like, yeah, like we're here. But all these other parts, like I don't really know how close we are. So when we got to the top and we got out, and we took a picture and stuff. I was like, we here. We are doing this.
Like we're right around the corner. Yeah. And at that point, that 10 miles of uphill really took everyone out. Yeah. And honestly, even us crew, like I remember Amelia was driving at this point now, and I can't keep my eyes open, but I can't fall asleep because there's, I have to be ready to like help switch out the runners. But like I was like,
at this point, that was Raheem.
We couldn't stay awake. No. Like we were almost there. I was like, oh my God,
I literally
we're over 40 hours in. Yeah. So we're like,
I was to the point of just like, I need to eat something. I need to play with something in my hand. I need to like smack my face. I like would put my window down just to feel the cold air on my hand. Or like when we would stop, it was like getting out, go talk to somebody in the window. Even if we didn't even make sense, like just like, hey,
we were just
like
trying.
We were trying so hard. Like at that point, I was nervous. I was really scared.
It was like the universe though. What happens next? It's like the universe knew we needed to wake up for this last part of the run.
Yeah. Whatever hours of sleep that we were missing, like it didn't even matter.
So we had passed this certain team a while back, like way before the 10-mile hill, a while back. Because I remember specifically, again, remember blue tape. All the RVs have specific blue tape and stuff on it, so we knew. So we have a runner on Blue Diamond. We're making our way down. We're driving because we can't trail. If you're from Vegas, Blue Diamond, you can't trail your runners there. So we're driving to the next landmark, and then we hear our runner Felicia on the radio. And she goes, they're cheating. They're trying to pull up on me. They're running up on me right now. We're like, what is going on? She's like, they just pulled up in a Jeep and let a runner out, and the fresh runner's sprinting to pass me.
Sprinting.
The rule for the speed project is you have to make it on foot. Your runners have to tag each other and continue. We are convinced this team drove through the 10-mile hill that we ran and then tried to pass us on Blue Diamond.
Yeah, there was no way.
It woke everybody up. Everyone goes back to the Go vehicle. And Felicia's like, I'm like on the tail end of my run. My legs are not fresh. I can't keep up. They're going to pass me. So then we have to flip a U-turn. I call Savannah and Raheem. I'm like, you guys need to follow their RV, follow their Jeep, keep eyes on them, try to get them cheating on video. We're going to go and switch out.
We're on Blue Diamond.
Like, Blue Diamond,
you don't do this stuff like at all. No. You got a massive RV chasing down a Jeep. It's like, and my boyfriend, he's like, don't like get too close to him. I said, I'm gonna get close to them so they know that I know that they are cheating.
Yes.
And at some point, I know that they caught on because they started doing things. Started doing things right, and they tucked themselves away. And I'm like, you're being sneaky.
Yes.
Well, luckily we got locals who live in Vegas here, and we knew the roads. So
Yes. And honestly, watching the runners, it was like a movie. It was like an
straight
action movie, bro. These runners were so angry and they were so hyped because they just did all of that on their feet with integrity. And these people are trying to beat us by cheating. Oh, man. Our runners started sprinting, bro. Again, the 200s to 400s were back and they were hungry, bro. Mind you, they wanted to beat these guys out. And I have never, like, throughout the whole thing, I had seen some of these runners run this fast. The whole trip, like, these guys are sprinting down Blue Diamond.
Oh, like, this is the speed project. Like, that's where it kicks in. That's where it kicks in.
I was like,
they had been running literally since Santa Monica. To even see them running that fast alone, dude. I'm like, how are you doing this? Y'all are literally superheroes. Like, y'all are just
like,
going.
How are your legs this fresh to be running this fast? Because I can't run that fast with fresh legs.
Honestly, I was amazed. And at this point, our walkie-talkies aren't working. I wish they were at that point, but they weren't working.
They died.
So like we finally split.
Yeah.
I'm going down. What is it? You're better because you're
Dean
from
Martin
here.
or Warm Springs.
I believe it was. Oh, I was going down Dean Martin. And I was going and parking at Town Square. That way we could hop into the Go vehicle and then we're all together getting to the sign. I remember they picked us up and Wally's like, did you guys get the champagne? Mind you, we're all frustrated. Like we're like,
because we're still
heat of the moment. There's so much happening.
This team that's trying to beat us by cheating.
And we're trying to pick up the pace like wherever we can. And my partner, like, you just see him like running back to the RV and he's like slamming the door and he was like, I have it, let's go. And we get into the van and who's running at that point?
Felicia again, because they're like, bro, the Jeep pulls up again. They let out a fresh runner again, trying to beat her to the sign.
Yeah. So then we're all in the Go vehicle and we turn the light and then Felicia gets in and then we send out Cindy because we still need somebody to be running to get to the sign. And then she's running and we get ahead of her a little bit. All of us get out of the van. And like, this was just that remarkable moment. Like we see the sign and we all run together to like celebrate. I don't want to get emotional.
Yeah. I was holding one of the champagne bottles and I remember thinking in my head, I was like, you cannot, because they're like, they like decorated it with the no spectators from the speed project on the champagne bottles. I was like, you cannot drop this, like gripping this thing with your life.
It's like in the air like this, we're running like that.
He's like, slow down. And I'm like, I just can't. I could see it. I wanted, like, we were there and we just all started running in together, and our timestamp for our finishing time is based off of the group picture that we send into that overall group chat. So before celebrating and everything, our mission was get the runners in front of the sign, take a picture, send it in.
Yeah.
So I didn't even celebrate or do anything yet until we got the runners together. We took the picture. Emilio sent it in and they're fast with it. They were like 49 hours, X minutes. I don't remember to the minutes, seconds, but I know it's 49 hours. It was about 5:30 in the morning on Sunday, which absolutely blew our expectations out of the water. And then it was just tears.
It was tears. Like
I was bawling. I don't cry publicly, and I was bawling my eyes out. Yeah. And even Emilio, I mean, most men don't typically cry like that publicly. All of our male runners,
literally no dry eye. No. Honestly, it was just
the relief that we did it. No one got hurt. Everyone made it safely.
Yeah.
And like everything that we endured, we did it together. I've cried so much that weekend, not even just that moment. After that, so like it was just like my life has changed. Our lives are changed. The whole Oruzu team's life are changed forever.
Yeah. I think like the hardest part was just trying to tap back into like reality, like the real world. Like she was saying like that whole week, even the day after, like I texted her, I was like, this is my 11th time crying today because like we finally were able to sleep. We finally got some food in our system, but it's like we're so overstimulated and on a high from this whole experience that like I don't want to let it go, you know? And and I'm sitting there and I'm like in disbelief that like one, like we really just did that. But two, like I've done a lot in my life, but like that was by far the best experience I've ever done.
I couldn't more.
And to be able to do that, like with these amazing people, it went literally from strangers to family. And not to even mention like the crew team, like we all know each other. We're already super close, but like that already put a bigger level to that, bigger impact for us.
Even closer now.
Yeah. And like the fact that we got to live that, and even after that whole weekend, it opened up a lot of opportunity and
doors.
A lot of things that I've personally prayed for over the years. The community, the people, the ability to make a larger impact. I mean, it was incredible.
I do want to shout out to obviously our runners are mostly not from here. It was just Emilio, Sav, and I that live here out of our team, but there was another Vegas team, DTK, that did run the speed project. Our trainer at the strip barbell, Adam, he was on the team. We did get to run into them halfway through, and it was a breath of fresh air running into our fam out there, and that they made it safe. And he also waited. They arrived at the sign about 30 minutes before we did, and they waited for us and got to see us cross the sign. So it was very emotional altogether. And I feel like we really bonded with them. So shout out DTK. You guys did that too.
Y'all did that.
They did that too. And I have a different respect for these people. And I also now, we've talked about this, I have a different meaning to the phrase do hard things, because I think that phrase gets thrown around a lot. And without there being a true meaning to it. And now our meaning to do hard things is significantly different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we look forward to doing more hard things, because it's not the last that you'll see of Team Oruzu and the speed project, that's for sure.
No, so. we got more things coming. Like you said, do hard shit. You know, that was a major thing that I reflected on after that, because that whole experience not only reshaped the way I view myself, but it honestly reshaped the way I view the world. And like,
it was hard.
It was hard. Do hard shit. You know, not the cute stuff, not the aesthetic things. That's not what I'm talking about here, but do things that break you, that test your patience, your mindset, your discipline, shit that makes you rethink if you're even qualified for these things, because that's truly what creates who you are, the strength that you have within. And I got to experience that and see that in every single person on that team. And I'm really excited to see what we have in store. It was insane.
We did it.
We did it. That's all
I will say shout out to the runners. Like, obviously when we talk of those stories, like we're crew and like we have the humility to be like, hey, we didn't run it. But our runners, at one point they're like, you guys have a harder job than us. They're like, the running is honestly the easy part. You made the running part easy for us because of everything you guys did on the back end. Like, they're like, we were able to sleep, we were able to eat. Yeah. You guys pretty much did it. And so we appreciate the runners for acknowledging like how hard of a job that we had. I wouldn't have changed it for the world, and I loved it.
No, absolutely not.
But shout out to the runners for making us feel just as important than the runners.
Yeah, and I will say, like, there's a lot of you guys who ask how it went and why did you do it, and this is crazy and things like. I want you to understand that, like, there is no medal at the end of the finish line. Like, this is not your typical race. A lot of the things that we had to navigate were just essentially working together as a team to get through this. And that's, like we said, where you have to. That was the medal. It was.
That was the medal, knowing that we were able to survive all of that. Yeah. And the word survive was used meticulously, by the way, because we survived. Yeah. We survived. We survived it and can't wait to run it back.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers everything that you guys have been questioning. And
remember, just because when you hear the stories, you're like, wow, this sounds exhilarating. How do I become a part of it? How do I run it? It's not this exhilarating, exciting when you're in the moment. Okay. When you're in the moment, it's terrifying. It's scary. You have to be able to endure those things and know what to do during those moments in order to survive. Yeah. What we just did.
So start doing hard shit. So maybe one day that'll be you. That'll be you out there.
Team Oruzu against the world, Oruzu, baby.
Yes. All races welcome. I think this is an appropriate Sav de Tal moment again.
Tal de Sav. Over and out.
Over and out. We'll see you next time. Yay.
Project.
Yes.
And keep living through it.
What? That's crazy.